I can't do it. Do we look skinnier like our pictures?
Do you like how the picture we use for our contest and for the thumbnail for the show is like us how many pounds ago?
A year and a half ago, and at least 30 pounds each ago. Whoops.
We're losing, guys. Come on.
It's true. I'm down 8 pounds the first month.
We're looking at the picture and we're like, man, we look good.
I'm like, damn,
look good.
See, I look at it going, damn, I'm fat. You look
in the picture?
No, now.
Oh, I'm talking about the picture, but I think we look pretty good now too. But I definitely used a picture of us a little bit lighter on our feet.
Totally see the difference in both of our faces. It's funny.
What's happening, everybody? It's Wednesday. It's Bossip and List Day, and we haven't been here for like 2 weeks. I think we missed the last 2 weeks.
We have.
So for those of you that may have forgotten about us, you don't even remember who we are, or it's your first time, welcome back. Welcome for the first time. I am Katie. This is Vicky, aka Victoria, when she would like to be taken very seriously, okay? AKA can't keep from laughing, apparently.
Well, not when you're being a goober.
Whatever, AKA my fiance. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the show. I see Danica in the chat wanting to know who we are. You shut your mouth, Danica. Anyway, good to see you guys. It's Wednesday. It's Bossip and List Day.
And Angie, two shows in a row.
What? I mean, we make it kind of easy by only showing up every few weeks. So
I know, right?
But yes, Angie, thank you. What exactly is Bossip and List Day? For those who have forgotten or maybe never have heard at all.
We may have some new followers because of our special show today. We'll be talking about it shortly. But Bossip and List Day is our all-day virtual listing party that we host in the Boss Facebook group. The link is down below if you'd like to join a Facebook group with a bunch of awesome resellers. By the way, we just passed 6,000 resellers in that group. We've kept it small and concise on purpose. We have about an 80% engagement rate in that group, which is phenomenal in a Facebook group. If you know anything about the statistics,
nobody likes
in a Facebook group.
I don't know.
Well, yeah,
one of the two.
True. But we have about 80% of the people are actively engaged in that group, which is really good. Anyway, so if you want to learn about reselling, want to learn more about reselling, want to connect with brand new and seasoned resellers in a positive environment, we encourage you to join our Facebook group. But basically, Wednesday is the day that we post our goals for the day, whether they're reseller related or personal related, and we kind of check in with one another around a virtual water cooler, so to speak. So that's what we do, and we take a break at about 11 o'clock, and here we are.
Here we are for Bossip and List Day.
Stop.
Like that?
You're going to make them turn the channel?
Never. Maybe turn the volume down a little bit, but I think
likely.
they'll stick around.
That's likely.
Anyway, we're back here for Wednesday. We don't have a specific topic really today, but we are going to be announcing a contest that we have going. If you already follow us on Instagram, then you know exactly what we're talking about. Maybe you've already entered the contest. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But what is happening, everybody? What is everybody doing? What are your goals for today?
My goals for today are to get 30 new items listed. I have about 16 in drafts right now, so I just need to make those live, and then I'll cross-post them across 4 platforms. And then I would like to list at least 10 to 15 new items and cross-post those as well. It's a lofty goal. I don't know if I'll get there, and considering it's 11 o'clock, I won't be able to start until about 12:30. But I'm hoping so. That's my goal. That's my goal today.
Yeah, I'm mostly.
And and I'm also going to film for those of you that like to learn about vintage women's clothing, I'm going to be filming a vintage clothing video, haul video. So it's going to be women's clothing, and we'll post that. It's not going to be live. It's
maybe like tomorrow or something.
Probably film it later today.
Yeah. Let's see, my goal, I've already listed everything I have to list, and so now I got to take pictures again. I think I have like 50 things to take pictures of, which for me is actually quite a bit.
It's like 700.
But for me, that's actually quite a bit because I've kind of been going lower volume, higher price stuff. That's my thing. I enjoy it because I'm kind of lazy, so it's nice. Plus, I just like being excited about the stuff that I'm listing. But I guess you just deal with that by having somebody else do all the pictures and listings for you.
Pretty much.
It helps. But anyway, so today I'm going to be taking pictures. I did all my prep last night. I'm going to be taking pictures, and maybe I'll get a couple things listed tonight. I don't know. We'll see. But it's just about doing pictures and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been like rebuilding my banger inventory.
Your bangers.
Yeah, because at some point, because I did get MVP again the last time I did the virtual flea, at some point I did get to go back on. They're doing like a big all-star weekend this weekend, and
why are you not on there? You are not an all-star?
I've not quite risen to the level of all-stars, and I think that is
whatever.
That's quite fair.
You're an all-star.
I appreciate. Mind. Okay, Mom. My mom always told me I was a genius growing up.
Right.
It's probably true. Anyway, but I am on like the list. Chris has me on the list to hopefully get on as soon as they have room for me. So probably next weekend. But anyway, so I've been stocking up. So I got some really cool stuff that I'm going to be taking pictures.
Pretty excited about.
I'm pretty excited about it, guys.
Tommy said, I'm hoping to take a shower today. It's been a week. I get it.
There you go. You know, there's always people who say, like, you ever see those posts where people are like giving advice about how to be productive working from home, and they're like, get up in the morning, take a shower, get dressed before you sit down to work so it feels more like it's a real work day. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you know, you're lucky if I'm taking a shower. Okay.
That's not true.
Okay. There's probably one day a week where I'm like, man, I don't need to. I might, you know, do a little horse bath with some wet wipes and change my clothes. But
at least you do that.
I do that. Yeah, at least that's like once a week, guys.
You wash your face, you brush your
teeth.
Yes.
I clean myself, put on fresh clothing. But even on the days I do shower, which are most days, guys. Okay, come on. I do pretty much just put pajamas back on, and then I sit down and work in my pajamas because I'm like, or maybe just my boxer briefs. So, and I can be very productive that way. I don't see the need to get all.
See, I do. I have to take a shower every morning and get dressed in order for me to start my day listing and working in my office. See, I do act like I have a real job.
Yeah. Kelly, you're right. Clean undies at least always. I have to
have the clean underwear. I have to have clean
clothes. When we do laundry, she's always trying to figure out like how I go through so many clothes. And I'm like, I gotta have clean clothes on, man. Gotta have clean clothes.
She literally wears like 2 outfits a day. So it's, you know, it's a little crazy.
I don't know what you're talking about. See? Conserve water showers on Saturdays. Do you remember do you remember being a kid like you only had to shower like or take a bath like every few days?
No, my mom is a clean freak. I had to take it. Yeah, and I made my kid do it too. So
really, you had to bathe a child every single day. That's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
You know, my mom we had to take baths every night or showers, and I did the same thing to my kids. So I have to say, sorry.
Yeah, you're weird. I remember when I was I remember
why I'm still like that.
I remember being really little, and it was like Saturday night. It was bath night, and I mean, it's
one day a week
when you're like a little kid. I mean, you wash your hands, like you know. It's like Anyway, and then it was like every other day, and that was like torture.
Gross. I wouldn't be admitting that out loud.
Okay, guys, in the chat, when you were a little kid, seriously, or parents, like really, do little kids bathe every day? That's not the norm. That is not the norm. Usually they go at least a few days.
Alexis says I forget to bathe my kids all the time. Listen, when little kids are outside playing, they get dirty and sweaty and gross. And yes, I know, but you don't have to throw my kid in the tub every night and just like, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
So Greg Dupage Picker wants to know, what do our pins say? We are wearing List Perfectly pins. Mm-hmm. Some of the List Perfectly swag. We're going to talk about that. So yeah.
Yeah, because we're doing a big contest. But you're talking about like having to cross post, and you know, now I'm cross posting, you know, every single day when I'm listing, it's like eBay, Etsy, Grailed, Mercari, and Instagram. So I've got like all these different things going on at once. But the reality is we were just looking at like our 30-day numbers for like eBay, and we were kind of going like, oh, eBay's not doing so great. But the reality is once we add like all of our other platforms to it, we were talking about like where we were at this time like last summer and the summer before that.
So the reality, last summer and the summer before that, where we had 2 major glitches happening in eBay, right?
Yeah.
So last summer was the item specifics crap that really affected a lot of people. And Katie and I were definitely 2 of those people that were affected. Depends on the categories you had. Some people it didn't affect at all. And then the prior summer was the whole picture debacle, right? So that affected a lot of people. It affected their sales. But I will say last summer I was thinking, oh, I was having a great summer. I'll talk some real numbers. Last summer I was thinking, oh, I'm doing about $8,000 in sales a month. That's great for summer months for me. This summer, I'm sitting here bitching because I hit under $14,000 this month in the last 30 days between the 4 platforms.
Yeah, and so, you know, and yes, we had glitches that affected sales for sure. But when I look back historically in the summer, my sales always drop in the summer. But this summer, because of all the additional platforms, it's like, yeah, my eBay numbers are down. But once I add everything up, it's like way over that. Way over what I've ever been before, particularly in the middle of the summer. I'm over, I think between everything the last 30 days, I am probably over 14K for the last 30 days gross.
Same.
But I'm telling you, that's because I finally, a couple of years ago, and same for you, like stopped focusing just on eBay and really started putting more energy into making sure I was on the other platforms. And the reality is the majority of the work, like yes, you have to go source the items, you have to take pictures of them, you process them, you take pictures, you do measurements, you do the listings. The majority of the work is done within that one listing, and the cross-posting part of it is just like a little bit of extra time, but the return on it is crazy.
Exactly.
And so having list perfectly makes that possible with a really minimal amount of time.
I have been using List Perfectly personally. Katie's was a little slower on the uptake. She was waiting for them to add Grailed. But I have been using List Perfectly since April of 2019. I was one of the early adapters. For an example, I can tell you that my referral code is 77. So, and I think that is it has something, because they were given out numerically. So that can tell you how quickly and early I was starting to do referrals. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't doing that at first. So
77 referral code. 77.
All right, it's not just 77, so don't be like. But anyway, I'm just saying, I was an early adapter through List Perfectly. I started watching them because Teresa actually is friends with the ladies and found them first, and they were part of her meetup in Phoenix. And she started telling me about this program, and I was watching them when they were first coming out with it. It was still super glitchy and brand new. It was still completely in beta, and they weren't doing cross-posting or anything like that. They were just trying to cross-post one item at a time, and it was brand new. And I remember watching their first couple of YouTube videos where they were just doing it for themselves. They weren't trying to sell it yet. It wasn't even a product that was for sale. And I remember watching it and going, these girls have something. This is exactly what the reseller community is looking for. This is exactly what the reseller community needs. They just have to figure out how to make it work right. And as soon as they were able to figure out how to make it work right, I could not have been happier to join and start using the program. So I started using it for Etsy first because I was already on Etsy, but I was very sporadically on there, and I was paying Dana, who was my assistant at the time, I was paying Dana hourly to cross-post manually on Etsy for me, just my vintage items. And that was, you know, you got to download the photos, you got to copy and paste. She was maybe getting 4 or 5 done an hour. And I was paying her hourly. Now, not that she was doing anything wrong. It's just a very clunky and time-consuming way to do it. Mm-hmm. As soon as they were able to add Etsy, I started using List Perfectly, and I started having Dana do other things for me. I had her do listing for me. I had her do more photographs for me. So the hourly that I was paying her before to do something mundane was now being used much better in other ways for her to help me increase my business. Yeah. So for me, List Perfectly twofold. It helped me increase my business and get onto other platforms, but it also helped me ramp up my selling on other platforms. I joined not just ramped up my selling on Etsy, but it also ramped up, and I added Mercari at the end of last year. I added Posh back in January. I still hate Posh, for frig's sake, still hate it, but it's worth it enough for me to get other sales there. So, yeah. You know, for me, it's I can honestly say Etsy is going to be $20,000 this year for me. Posh will probably only be like, maybe I might hit 10,000 on Posh. I might. We'll see what Q4 brings. And I will probably hit about 8,000 to 10,000 on Mercari.
Yeah.
So that's $40,000 in addition to gross, mind you, in addition to what I'm already doing on eBay for $69.99 a month.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, my Etsy,
and there are other avenues. That's the pro plan, which is what I have. So
My Etsy, I should hit about 40K this year. Grilled and Mercari will probably be another 15,000 each. I mean, this is all like the level, the store levels, not store levels, the subscription levels we have with List Perfectly, I think are the $70 a month one, because it transfers over the most stuff and you can do bulk and everything. I mean, if you have a store of any size, you know, obviously if you only have like a handful of items and, you know, you're a hobby seller, you're not necessarily going to want to invest that much for monthly, but anything else, it's
if
like,
you're trying to, if you're trying to increase growth in your business, it is well worth it. Now, you know, and we, if you watch us at all, if you understand our show, if you know us at all, you do know that Katie and I do not endorse anything that we do not use ourselves, period. We don't have a ton of affiliate links. We're not just constantly throwing stuff up to try and make a dime off of it. That's not the way that we do business. And if you know that we also, you know, have a baby YouTube channel, as far as most people, we're under 10,000 subscribers. We love all of you guys, but we're not making money off of that type of thing. So, you know, you need to understand that if we talk about something as passionately as we do about List Perfectly, which is probably the only thing we talk about like this, we really believe in the product. Now, if you are on the fence or have not tried List Perfectly, or maybe you tried it very early on and you found it a little bit too problematic, which when they were in beta, they were having some issues, but that's what happens when you're in beta. They're trying to work out the kinks. I highly encourage you to try and use it again.
Yeah.
We do have a link below. If you use the link to sign up as a first-time subscriber with List Perfectly, you will get 30% off your first month.
Well, you use the link and then you use the code that's down there as well, because the link just takes you to List Perfectly, and then you have to use the code to get the 30% off for the first month. So, which is, you know, a significant amount, especially when you're not sure about it. And you know,
it is month to month. So if you try it for a month, I say put yourself into it for a month, like balls to the wall, work it for a month. If you do not find that has paid for itself in that first month, cancel. You guys, I guarantee you that's not going to happen.
The beginning of, what month is this? I don't even know. Beginning of July, I started doing Mercari. But the thing with Mercari is that you have a limit of how many things you can list if you're new. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to put all these listings in. I hit 700 listings. It only took me a few days. I hit 700 listings, and then they limited my account. I couldn't list anymore. I probably can go beyond that now because I've had more sales. But so I only had 700 items in there, and in just the first month, I did well over $1,500, and that was just adding another platform. I mean, that's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, definitely try it out if you're interested. So with that said,
also you should join their Facebook group. I'm going to say List Perfectly, and it's your success on using the program itself. It's a Chrome extension. It is not an app. And there's several reasons behind that, but the most important being is that you need to have several windows open in order to make it work properly. That's not something you can do on a phone, so it's not going to be an app. Can you use it on your app? Can you manipulate in there and get in there and start listings and end listings and that type of thing? Absolutely. But it is most effectively done on a desktop or a laptop, because you need to have multiple screens to do cross-posting. So the other thing that I wanted to say about it is that it is entirely dependent on your internet speed. If you happen to live somewhere super rural and you have terrible internet speed and you are using dial-up or satellite internet, and your upload speed or your download speed is very spotty or glitchy, this will probably not be a program that will work good for you. And that's just the way it is. You can use it. It'll probably still save you some time, but it will not be fast. It is entirely dependent on the type of internet speed that you have.
Yeah.
The other thing about it is that, you know, you see here and there that people are going to have problems and glitches and things like that. It's a program. There are programs and glitches. Like most 95% of the people I see that complain about something wrong with the program is user error. They're very, very good about fixing any program glitches that happen. When you're dealing with 10 different platforms, the way that they do, you can cross-post to 10 platforms for the same price, by the way. When you're dealing with 10 different platforms that constantly evolve and change themselves, they need to constantly change and evolve the programming and the coding. So it does take them a day or two sometimes to get an update for a specific platform when the platform changes, because it's not like they get advance notice, hey, the platform's going to change this coding here and you need to change your program. That's not the way it works. So
yeah. So Liz has a pro tip. She says start with a pro plan for at least your first month, more savings with a 30% off code. Yeah, and the pro plan, it puts the most stuff over. But let me give you an example of like what I really love about List Perfectly. Like Vicky said, I didn't go into it until they added Grailed, because that was the platform I most wanted to get onto. And so they added Grailed, and Grailed has been making some changes lately, like over the last like month or so. And they recently added tags, like hashtags. They didn't have that when I first started on there. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, they've got hashtags. Well, I use Etsy, and Etsy has keywords. And on Etsy, when you do your keywords, you can have spaces between the words, because it's just, what people might search for. And so when I saw the hashtags on Grailed, I put a post in the group, and I was like, I wish that it would automatically grab the keywords that I have on Etsy and put them onto my Grailed, so I don't have to re-enter any of that stuff. And I'm telling you, it was like less than a week on it. But the only issue was, because of the spaces in the words on Etsy, it was moving over to Grailed and putting like a underdash or whatever underscore in between the words. So then I put another post and I said, I love this, but is there any way, would it be too difficult to just remove those so it's all one word, like a hashtag when you're on like Instagram, you do hashtags, you don't put spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And less than a week, bam, they fixed it. It's ridiculous, like how responsive they are. Anyway, so let's move on from
I'm looking in the chat. The Unique Store did a video on List Perfectly. Yeah, we've done a bunch of them. We've had the ladies on the show a few times over the last year and a half. We've done a bunch of videos. Both Katie and I have done some instructional videos with List Perfectly and stuff like that. Yeah. So we do love the program. We believe in the program, but part of why we're talking about them more today than we generally do is because of our announcement for today's show is that we're going to be doing a giveaway.
We're doing a giveaway. So the ladies at List Perfectly are super awesome. If you follow them on Instagram, which you should, and especially now that it'll help you get another entry into the contest we're doing. If you follow them, they've been doing a lot of giveaways of products, because they are sellers themselves and they've sold a lot in the past, and really cool stuff, like a lot of the kind of stuff that both of us sell, like a lot of vintage and stuff like that. And so they've been doing lots of giveaways.
They do a giveaway every Friday.
And so they contacted us and they were like, hey, we want to send you some boxes of stuff, some free stuff, so that you can give them away to your followers and your watchers. And so they did. They sent us 2 boxes of really, really cool stuff.
Really cool stuff. Mostly vintage.
There's some stuff that's not.
But very few items that are not, but mostly vintage, because they know that's what we both love. And so mostly vintage stuff, men's. I think there's a few women's things, but mostly men's. And Katie and I both added a bunch of our own.
We added stuff too.
Stuff to the boxes. So these boxes, I think they're going to have somewhere around
at least $600 worth of value.
I was going to say, I think 10 to 12 items per box, if not more.
Yeah.
And somewhere around $600, I think more. I think it's going to be worth each box is going to be worth more retail than $600.
Yeah, it all depends on how, because different people price things differently and have different methods of doing it. But because the reality is, once it gets to you, if you win one of the boxes, you can do what you want with it. You can price it how you want. Maybe you are a quick nickel as opposed to a slow dime, and so that's up to you how you want to do it.
Right. But if you watch our channel, if you watch our haul videos, our solds and things like that, you know that Katie and I both price things fairly high and ask for very high prices on items, and generally get them.
Yeah.
Now, not everybody does their business model like that. Some people definitely want to flip it faster. But I will tell you, even if you go to flip something fast, you're not going to make less than $500 on each of these boxes.
So we have 2 boxes that we're going to be giving away. And bottom line is, you need to be following us on Instagram in order to be even to know what's going on with it. So each of us posted on Instagram, and our Instagram names are down below, but mine is at Katie Zilverberg, hers is at LB Pink Peacock. And we each did a post that has the full set of instructions of what you need to do in order to get an entry. There's 7 ways for you to...
You can get up to 7 entries.
Yeah, 7 ways for you to enter, and we will count all 7 of them, because basically what I'm doing is I'm creating a spreadsheet that has everybody's names in it. And if you do all of the methods, you will be on that list 7 times, and it'll be all numbered. And then next Wednesday, we will be doing on the show, we will be doing on screen a random draw to figure out who the winners are. But there's 7 ways that you can enter. And you can enter starting now. We just posted it like an hour or two ago. And we're going to take entries all the way up until Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time.
Because Katie needs a couple of days to do the spreadsheet, because you know my ass isn't doing a spreadsheet.
I mean, I'm working on it as we go.
I delete everybody. I don't. I'm awful with spreadsheets.
I'm working on it as I go, because obviously I'm already getting tons of messages. But let me see if I can come up off the top of my head the 7 ways you can enter. So first of all, there's just following Vicky, which was at LV Pink Peacock. Almost called you your old name. LV Pink Peacock on Instagram. Follow my Instagram, which is at Katie Zilberberg. Follow the List Perfectly Instagram, which is at List Perfectly. So that right there is 3 entries. So that's super easy. All you have to do is follow them. Now you do need to send me screenshots that you're following, because if you know Instagram, it's not the easiest to figure out if someone's following you or not. So I need screenshots showing that you follow all 3 of those accounts, or 1 of each, whatever.
The instructions are very much written out, by the way. So if you forget this, it's not like you need to take notes. You can just
you don't need to take notes. They're all written out.
What we're saying.
So that's 3 entries right there. You can be subscribed to us on YouTube. So that's a 4th entry right there. You can tag your comment on each of our posts and tag 3 people. So that right there is 2 more entries, because you'll get an entry if you do that on her post, and you'll get an entry if you do that on my post. So that's 6 right there. And then the last and 7th way that you can get an entry is by either sharing our posts in a story on Instagram or just a regular Instagram post, okay, and tagging us so that we know that you did it. So that's 7 ways. But again, you need to message me at Katie Zilberberg on Instagram and send me a screenshot of that you follow me on YouTube, us on YouTube, and that you follow us on any of those 3 accounts. And again, you don't have to do all 7. You can do 1. You could just do 1. You could just comment and tag some people in one of the things and get 1 entry. So you can do as much or as little as you want to do. If you want to go all out, boobs to the wall, as someone said, then you can get all 7 entries. And that's basically the breakdown of it. But do you want to show them a little sampling of? Yeah.
So first of all, we'll show you. So there's a bunch of List Perfectly swag in the box too, which is not counted in the dollar amount that it's worth, but I think it's pretty cool. So everybody is going to get a List Perfectly t-shirt, which is on the front and back, which is fun. I personally have one like this. It's a big one, and I like to sleep in it. A List Perfectly bottle opener and wine opener, because we all need to drink if we're resellers.
Hold on a second. This is what I want to say real quick though, because people have swag. How awesome is it when they have swag that's like actually something you can use?
We didn't get to it yet.
Well, but you're showing that.
Oh, you'll get a pin.
You're showing that. I'm saying it's actually something you can use.
Not only is it something we can use, it's something we will use.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as opposed to just some random trinket that you're like, oh, this is cool. But these are things you'll actually use. Like, you can use it for bottle opener, for wine opener, a tape measure. I mean, of course you're going to use this.
Because who doesn't use tape measures?
Even if you don't do clothing, you're going to use tape measures for other stuff.
Fun sticker.
Yeah.
Let's see. I dream of listing perfectly in my swag shirt. Yes, yes, yes. Just send the screenshot to Katie. It tells you how to do it. Kelly, there is a post in the boss group, but I would prefer not to put the screenshots in the boss group, because that might get lost in that post.
I need everything to be through my Instagram.
If everything sends her, one place where she can collect all the data, because this is going to be hundreds and hundreds of posts that are going to come to her. So, if we can try to keep it in one spot.
Yeah, Tommy.
The directions are on there though.
Tommy, it's not only for new followers, anybody, I just need a screenshot. I just need you to message me a screenshot on Instagram that shows you are following me. Because if you just send me a screenshot of my own profile, it'll show that you follow me or not. It'll say following. And so it doesn't matter when you started following me. I just need to see that you do.
Right. Oh, you got your ET buddy in the chat here.
What's going on? That's Rob in the chat. Rob is super cool. He is the one that got my magical ET shirt, and he's on Instagram as well. He's Thrift Seasons. Rob, if you want to put what your Instagram, how it's spelled, your Instagram in the chat, that would be cool. And Rob has actually been selling on eBay for years, like kind of part-time. He was a dabbler, a part-timer, but has recently, in the last handful of months, shifted over to doing it more full-time. So selling it in general and building up an Instagram following too. So, and he is an avid virtual flea participant. He likes to buy cool stuff, basically.
Yep.
He's pretty awesome.
So do you want to show? So we're going to give you guys a little teaser of some of the stuff that's in the boxes. These are actual pieces. This is not a, it could be like this. These are the actual pieces that are going to go in the box. It's not everything, but it's just some of them. It's actually going to be a lot more than this. And who knows what's going to be in what box. There will be 2 boxes, only 1 winner. So sorry, I think Tommy said send me both boxes. You can only get 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want
only 1 box per winner.
Only 1 box per winner.
Yeah. Okay, so we got some, seriously, these are crazy. So this is,
mind you, these are the things that we want to keep ourselves. Yeah. So, you know, let's. So
this is a really cool satin bomber jacket, and on the back of it, it's the Olympics. It's the 1984 Olympic Games, Pacific Telesis. I don't know what that is, but Pacific Telesis. They must have been like
a sponsor
or something like that. This is 1984 Olympic Games. This is a really cool satin bomber jacket from the 80s. Yo, love it, love it. Nice and embroidered. This is another satin bomber jacket. This must be like a radio station or something like that.
I don't care what it is. It's so cool.
Yeah. So the front of it's blank, but the
I'm jealous because I want this one.
So the back says "Start Me Up, Group W Radio 1990," but this is a Rolling Stones thing. To Start Me Up, and that's their graphic.
Yeah, and look at the cool like.
This is like a radio jacket from 1990. So
the retro neon graphic is pretty cool.
This, I don't even know what I would say this is worth because, like I said, that's if you've seen that Rolling Stones T-shirt where it has that going across that same little thing, and it says "Start Me Up." So who knows what this is actually worth? Who knows if there's any more out there like it? So that kind of gives it a unique value. What else? All
right, so then we've got a vintage. This is pretty sweet. Universal Studios. Look at this crop shirt. This is so 80s. Like. All I can picture is some muscled dude on Venice Beach wearing this. Okay, so it's got like the sweatshirt gathered bottom, but look at this. The freaking sleeves.
Language.
This is unzips. It unzips on both sides. So you can wear it all the way open. So you can be like a cool chick that wears this with one of those like lacy sports bra things. No, it's a look. You don't even know. Or you could be like some dude who can't put his arms down because his muscles are so big.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So anyway, you could be small. So this is pretty funny. I like that one.
Lingo down, you know, the youngins lingo down.
Yeah. And then there's this cool, like, all right, anybody who is from, this is like Dare, a Dare, vintage Dare T-shirt from
Nevada.
From Nevada. This is 90s. It's a best Fruit of the Loom tag from the 90s. So these are real popular, this type of stuff. We talk about streetwear, we talk about vintage. This type of stuff is what sells. Let's see. Katie, you want to show that?
So this is not vintage. This is an Adidas Originals, new with tags. The tag on this is $140, 2XL, nice size. I don't know if you can really see that, but anyways, it's a really cool pullover windbreaker jacket with a hood. It's got some gold going on, a little bit of gold. So USA colors going on here with some gold.
Bandana.
Yep, pretty much. Another satin. We're all about satin bombers right now.
Lots of satin bombers.
Lou Crenshaw bands is an 80s satin bomber.
80s country band.
Woo woo.
I think it's like a Sammy Crenshaw.
I don't know.
He's
this is probably like the best one.
This is my favorite piece.
I don't know. That radio station Rolling Stones jacket might be the best thing. But this is a Detroit Red Wings satin bomber jacket, but it's a starter. It is a starter jacket.
Vintage.
NHL, so probably 80s. So this one's probably one of the higher value pieces.
That's probably worth about 200, maybe more. I haven't looked it up. I haven't tried to do any comps on that, but a vintage starter, Detroit Red Wings, which is always a hot team.
It's hot with the youth, right?
The Utes.
The Utes. So the banger jacket.
It's wicked banger. So yeah, so that's just a little glimpse into the stuff that goes in the boxes. So yeah, I mean,
there's a lot more than that.
Every single one of the things that are in these boxes are things that Katie or I would source and list ourselves. Every single thing.
Very, very true. Although I have been focusing more on t-shirts lately, just because I'm getting into it.
I want that jacket. I want both of those jackets. So it's not junk. It's not cast-offs. It's not crap that other people can't sell. It's all good stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. Anyway, so go ahead and make sure that you are following us on Instagram. Go check out those posts and get all your entries in. And like I said, you have until Sunday, this Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Pacific time to get all your entries in. And then next week on our show, we will actually draw the winners live. We'll do a screen share so you can see that it's all fair. And we'll pick
I agree,
winners.
Jacob. I think this is, I mean, I enter List Perfectly's challenge every single week because I think their Friday giveaway boxes are all fantastic too. I haven't won one yet. But this one is, I think ours are pretty awesome. I have to say, they're not, yeah, Alexis, and don't sell them for $20, people. Yeah, please. God love you. If you win in one of these boxes and you sell this stuff for $20, I'm buying it back from your ass to resell it for 10 times that, okay? So I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you.
I don't know about
if you sell the stuff for $20, I'm buying it back.
This will be a good lesson in a good exercise in waiting a little bit. Give stuff a little bit of time. Some stuff.
Yeah, and you know what? If you happen to be one of the people that gets one of these boxes and this is outside your wheelhouse and it's something that you're not comfortable with pricing and you don't necessarily understand it, this would be a good way for you to learn a lot of vintage stuff. But also, Katie and I would be happy to help you with keywords and pricing on things too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Anyway, let's talk about the eBay celebration. I know you like those kind of puns.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we pay for shipping, Tommy.
Yeah.
We're going to pay for the shipping.
Yeah. Actually, we're going to give them away and then be like, $200 shipping, please. Right?
Pass. No. We're going to pay for the shipping.
Yeah. Let's talk about the eBay celebration.
Yeah. So eBay, as most of you know, generally has their eBay Open conference the last 4 years that has had a conference, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, 4 years they've had conference here in Las Vegas. And thanks to Rona, but also thanks to budget cuts, because I believe it was canceled before Rona.
Yeah, it was.
But they were not having one this year. But it is eBay's 25th year of being in existence. So it's their 25-year anniversary. And they are doing a bunch of little things to connect with resellers and to do some giveaways and things like that. So one of the things, if you happen to have not seen this, I would definitely go check out your Seller Hub and take a look at selling announcements. And we're going to show you.
We're telling you this because they're if you sign up for it, it's a virtual event. If you sign up for it, you get
some free shit
box of stuff. And we've seen some people that have already gotten stuff and like they've had like ring lights in them and stuff.
Well, they haven't gotten it from this. They've gotten it from signing up for the virtual.
Well, you don't know. Maybe it's going to be in this too. We don't know.
Could be. We don't know what's in it.
They buy like a bazillion of those things and they put them in everything. But point is, there's going to be some cool stuff you get for free. So why not take a minute or two?
Did you sign up already?
Yeah, I did already sign up.
All right, so we're going to show you where to find it.
I already signed up.
Are you screen sharing?
I'm screen sharing. All right, hold on.
Okay, so of course, depending on how your Seller Hub is set up, this could be in a different area, but just go and take a look for your little square that has the selling announcements.
Selling announcements, and you'll see right here, it says,
click on that.
We're throwing a 25th anniversary celebration all for you. You click on that. You click on that, and then you wait 5 years while it loads.
And why is it's taken a long time?
I know, right? Here we go. So basically, it just tells you to register now. So just go look for that on your Seller Hub, and you sign up. And it says early birds who register before August 25th. That's before now, yeah. Will receive a special complimentary delivery of eBay swag and collectibles before the celebration. This limited edition gift box was specially designed for our sellers to enjoy during the festivities. And like any gift, we'd love to see you open it. Anyway, so the point is,
and they've got a couple. They've got a cute little video in there about the history of eBay. If you scroll down a little bit more, you're going to see, you get to look back and see some things, but you also get to go in when you go into register. Click on register. You don't have to register.
Well, I've already registered.
I know, but just click on it for a second. If you scroll down, scroll, you can go into where it says celebrate your eBay story. And have you seen this yet?
No.
Well, why don't you click on it and I will show you how to do it. Yes. This is where you get to personalize some information here. You get to put in your ID and pick a color background and choose what you sell on eBay and why you like to sell on eBay and how long you've been on eBay. And it creates a custom banner for you to use for social media, or maybe you want to print out something and put it in a frame, whatever. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Very interesting. All right, I'm gonna pop out of this. Bam, we're back. Anyway, you should definitely go sign up for that because, like we said, you get some free stuff. And I don't know if it's going to have ring lights in it, so don't quote me on that. I just know that other swag bags or swag boxes they've sent out for other events this year have included like a little, I think it's like a little ring light, right?
Yeah, I want to see if I can find my post that I shared earlier with some friends. Let's see.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it says, so it lets you film this thing. I don't know if you can even see this, guys, but it lets you fill up this little thing. That was mine. So technically, I think their mapping is off, I have to say. You put in the year that you started on eBay. I started in 1998. Technically, it'll be 22 years in October, but it says I've been selling for 23 years. So I don't know who's handling I don't know who's handling their mathing, but it's 22 years. But for me, it said 23.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah. Somebody asked me, where do you find your seller ID? I mean, your seller ID is your name. Your seller name.
Your seller name. Like my store is LB Pink Peacock. Katie's is A Boutique for Him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you just go to your seller hub, it should say it right on your screen.
Mm-hmm. Now, to be fair, eBay Reseller Blogs, I did not start selling in 1998. I've said this before. I've been on the platform with an ID since 98. I started buying first. I sold a couple of things somewhere around 2000, 2001. Nothing fantastic. I think I sold a couple of things out of my house. Yeah. I did not start selling for reals until 2005. So I've been selling for 15 years steadily, like 100 plus items a week. Like that's been since, listing 100 plus items a week or 50 plus items a week for 15 years. I have not been doing it for the whole time.
1998, I was like in middle school at that time.
Fucking bite me. Liar. Liar.
Okay, Mom. Anyway.
I did not receive a confirmation, Jen, so I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. And I do want to say, guys, any of you that have been like following me doing the virtual flea, like I was saying earlier, they're doing like a big all-stars weekend. It's supposed to be, which means that like all these dudes are going to be coming hard with their crazy stuff to show, because they're, it's all about showing who's got the coolest shirts, right?
Reseller. I'm laughing at the comments. That's what I was waiting for, Katie. Your smash of my age. So sassy. Liz says you were playing Foursquare. Liz, you just showed your age, old lady, because Katie doesn't even know what Foursquare is. I would bet money.
I played Foursquare when I was a kid. Anyway, like it's a basic recess game. Everybody played Foursquare. I'm sure they still play Foursquare. Anyway, like this last weekend at the virtual flea. First of all, yesterday's Fitz, Jesse went on for the first time on Saturday. They did a great job. He did a great job. And then on Sunday, there was a guy who had a T-shirt up for sale that went for $6,000. It was fantastic. It was the record, and because it was happening, everybody was like sending. Actually, it was happening during our show on Sunday. So like after we got done with the show, I saw like all these messages telling me to come and watch the live. It was already over. But everybody was sending out like links to people to come and join the live, and it ended up going over like 1,000 people live, which is a lot. It's like
they usually have like record. 200, between 200 and 300.
200 to 500 depending on who's in
depending
there.
On who's, yeah, when Drew Heifetz was selling, they were probably 500.
Yeah. But anyway, it was completely insane. And I will say, you should, if you have free time, check it out this weekend, because it seriously is a great way to kind of see like what people are super hyped about. And I swear everybody that's watched it now has been like, I want to go shop some T-shirts. Yeah,
I've been, someone's asking, are you the only woman that has sold in the virtual flea? I've only seen one other woman, but I'm sure there's more than one other. I've only seen one.
This weekend's like the 20th weekend he's done it, so I'm sure there's been more before me for sure. And one of the days I did it, there was another one. So, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely way more dudes doing it than there are women. That's just the reality, but I'm not the only one. So.
And someone asked Bobby Miller asked what was the graphic on the tee. It was a vintage genie from Aladdin from Disney, early 90s, early to mid 90s was when Aladdin came out. So
all over print.
It was an all over print. It was the old school Robin Williams genie. It was a very, very cool shirt. I don't know. I wouldn't pay $6,000 for any damn shirt personally. So I don't think it was that cool, but.
Well, there aren't a lot of them out there, so it's not like one that you could just be like, well, I want it now. But what was really funny is like that night, already there were like there were listings up on eBay of like anything that was like
even
Aladdin related. It was like $5,000 or best offer.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, dude. But it's a very different audience. You know, people say, you know, I would never pay this for a t-shirt. Katie would not have sold her t-shirt for $900 on eBay. You know, that's a different audience. You have for that specific
I need to have
Instagram.
Rob there.
First of all, you need to have Rob, but you need to have a very specific audience. And the people that are watching the virtual flea most of them are buyers and sellers, and they really appreciate that type of clothing. So the fact that you have a concentrated group of buyers that have the money and the means to spend, that understand the value, and that are going to fight over really, really cool pieces, you've got a very captive audience. You don't, you know, on eBay, you've got billions of sellers, but they have to find your one listing within those billions of sellers in those millions of listings, and they have to know to look there. Now, we've all said this before, eBay is not the target market for eBay is not the younger people. It just isn't. They have not been able to cross that yet. They are trying. I know that they're trying every year to get younger people as buyers and sellers on eBay, but it's not there yet. eBay is not where people in their 20s shop. It's just not. You know, I wish that were different. I hope that it gets different, and I hope that their marketing, you know, reaches that audience. But as of right now, it has not as of yet. You know, I have a 27-year-old daughter. I've been selling on eBay since she was a child, and she would never buy on eBay. Yeah. And she, you know, but they buy on Instagram, they buy on Facebook, they buy on Marketplace, they buy on Poshmark, they buy on Macari, they buy on Grail, they buy on Depop. Much smaller audience for those marketplaces, but it's definitely targeted toward the younger instant buyers. And
right now, like with vintage I mean, vintage has always been popular. It just goes in waves and changes, like what particular vintage is hot at this moment, and it all changes as it goes, and then it comes back around like any other fashion type. But right now we're probably at like super peak popularity for vintage, and you got to kind of consider it's almost like it's like art. And so, you know, it's not being made again. So these pieces are limited pieces from a particular point in time. You can't get more of them. They're constructed in a way that the clothing just isn't constructed anymore. And for people who are willing to spend up, it's about collecting. And it's not like, you know, anything else you can say like, oh, well, I missed out on this, or I see this is selling over here, but somebody else bought it. I'm just going to go look on Etsy. I'm going to go look on eBay, or I'm going to go look on Amazon, and I'm going to get it. It's not going to happen. So for instance, with the shirt that went for $6,000, yeah, there's more out there, but how many more are there? I don't know. Obviously it's one that doesn't come up very often, and it's a particular size. And there happened to be two people that were willing to battle it out over an auction at that particular time. And if you have the money to do it, and it's something that you really want for your collection, and you know it's a rare piece, like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Just, you know.
So Liz asked a good question. She said, would you say it's mostly about the item and about the community? Absolutely. That's the thing that the virtual flea, and in specific, lots of different resellers that sell on Instagram, that sell and target that specific audience and that specific market. It is a community. You know, it's a community within a community. There's resellers, and then there's a specific type of reseller that is going to buy and sell only a specific type of items. And it's a community within a bigger community for sure.
Yeah.
And
it's really cool though, because, you know, we're super active within the seller community that's mostly based around eBay and then some other platforms, and that's where we kind of know most people. But now that I've been like kind of pushing myself to become more involved in the vintage community on Instagram, which has definitely been something I've had to like focus on and force myself to do, because it's like I only have so much time in the day, but I know it's really important. It's really interesting to see like that community, because it's very different. There's a lot of differences from like the community here that we're part of, because in that community you do have a mixture of buyers and sellers, and they all love like vintage t-shirts, and people will, you know, they'll put stuff up for sale, but they'll also put their personal stuff. So they'll put up like, you know, this is my shirt not for sale, and they're just showing it because they want,
because other people can appreciate it.
Yeah, they can appreciate it. And so it's this really cool kind of like,
I mean, I've sold many things for $1,000 and above on eBay, depending on what they are. And, you know, it's not that you're only selling $30, $40, $150 items. You know, I've had many high dollar sales over the years, but I've never sold a t-shirt for $900. I've never sold a t-shirt for $6,000. The highest price t-shirt I sold was my $400 anime shirt, which was last month.
Yeah.
And that was through Instagram.
Yeah. But everybody has their different thing that they're into. You know, it's like I was talking to Casey, Rockstar Flipper, and he was just like, that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You would spend that on a t-shirt. And I'm like, this is coming from a guy who has like, what's his car's worth like $300,000.
Who has a $300,000 car. Like
like, to me, that's just not, I'm like, that's crazy. Like, I'd rather buy a Honda and, you know, a reliable car that's going to get me around. And spend my money on other things. And so it just depends on who you are and what you.
Everybody's got a thing, right? Everybody's got a thing that they're interested in, that they want to spend money on. I can tell you, I've spent far, far, far more than $6,000 on concerts and music in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I spent that on 2 rock cruises. So, I mean, I've spent, you know, umpteen thousands of dollars going to shows and buying merch and flying and traveling to see shows and festivals. So everyone has their thing, whatever that thing may be.
Yeah. And then there's like the old guy who lives in a single wide trailer and he passes away and they find out he had like $10 million because apparently his thing was to hoard his money. Ever spend money ever and never enjoy it.
God bless him.
Yeah. So whatever. I love it. I think
Jacob, Michael,
really cool.
What cruises? I've been on the Monsters of Rock cruise 4 times. That's what cruise I
and that's not, you know, because most cruises are pretty cheap. When you go on those cruises, they're not cheap because it's a special kind of cruise. Those are like you're spending like a few $1,000s, aren't you?
Yep. So DJ and Smith, I never spent under $1,000 going to a single festival. Agree, because I go to festivals in different states and I'll pay for, you know, airfare and a hotel and, you know, renting a car and buying merch and buying tickets. So you know, when I've gone on the Monsters of Rock cruises, that's $4,000 before you get into drinks and merch. That's just for your room. You know, and yeah, they're the most expensive cruises in the world and they're going to shitty places. It doesn't matter. You're going to, you know, Jamaica and you're going to Nassau. The cruises that normally cost you $500 for a 4-day, 3-night cruise are costing you $3,000 and $4,000. You're paying for the entertainment, you're paying for the access, you're paying for having, you know, 30 bands that you can hang out with and do shots with at 1 o'clock in the morning. And, you know, people that you had on posters on your walls when you were a teenager.
And never in a million years would I want to spend thousands of dollars to have that experience. But again, everybody has their thing. So, it just depends. Now, luckily, like, cause I do have a hard time spending money on things for myself. Like I love vintage clothing. I love the vintage t-shirts. I wear a lot of like movie t-shirts. Like this isn't vintage. This is a new t-shirt. But I have a hard time spending real money on myself for that kind of stuff. So I think what I love about what I do with selling vintage is that it allows me to do that buying and collecting, but have it be my business.
Yeah.
So I can buy and collect and have it. But then I could sell it. So I'm spending money all the time. You know, like yesterday, I think I dropped about $800 going out and buying stuff to sell over the next couple of weeks. I would never go out and spend that money on myself for vintage stuff for myself, but I get to have that fun and that kind of rush of buying because I'm selling it and it's part of my business. So it's kind of cool.
So similar, like I've spent, you know, on concerts and cruises and things like that. I'm also past that in my life right now. I feel like I've done everything and met everyone and seen everyone that I've ever really wanted to see or meet. I've had a lot of amazing experiences and I'm at that point where I'm like, I'm okay with that. Now I'll go to see a concert here or there. It's got to be somebody I really like. Cause I feel like the bands and the music that I really love is really doesn't sound as good, doesn't look as good. And I really would like to keep the memories where they are, where they belong. But you know, it just doesn't do it for me anymore, especially when you've seen, okay, so like give an example, Faster Pussycat or something like that. I've seen them probably 75 times with every different arrangement of members you can think of, LA Guns, that type of thing. And they just don't sound as good anymore. And if you've seen a band 100 times, I mean, 101, what the hell's the difference? So, you know, there's not a lot that I do with that anymore. And I'm 45, you know, at some point I got to hang up the corset and the bustier.
Wait, how old are you?
Yep. I got to hang up the bustier, you know?
The bustier. So eBay Resellers Blogs wants to know what my thing is. I mean, I guess one of my things would be I do collect movie soundtracks on vinyl. But even that, I don't spend a lot of money on.
That's an inexpensive hobby.
I really don't like spending money on myself. But I would say, I mean, honestly, my thing is what I do for a living. Like, I love it.
Same.
I've had a lot of different jobs in my life. And ones where I was just working to get paid. And this is the first job I've had where it's like, I don't want to quit working at the end of the day most of the time.
I have to make her. It's true.
And because of the stuff that I choose such a narrow niche of stuff that I want to sell, because for me, I've learned over the years that what I do, I need to love it and I need to have a lot of fun doing it in order for it to be fulfilling. And so I don't just do like high volume, let's buy a bunch of cheap t-shirts or cheap whatever. And it's okay if that's how you do it. If that works for you, that's great. We have, like we had our friend Trish on a while back, and hers is high volume, like lower price stuff. That's not fun for me. So for me, I would say my thing is like I get to have my thing in my work. I get to be paid to do my thing. So, which is awesome.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, we've talked before. Katie and I have done a lot of work with nonprofits. I still do, and I've dragged her with me. So now she does work with different nonprofits.
Well, I did
that matter to me, but that was her career, and now she does it on a volunteer basis with me. And for me, I sell. I sell things I'm not interested in for sure, but I love what I do for a living. I love what I do for a living because it allows me to give back to the community. I make enough money that I can travel when I want to. I can give to friends and family when they need help. I don't think that I found a GoFundMe that I haven't given to for a friend or a family member. I may not always give a lot, but I can always, if I can give, it's more than if I'm able to do it, I'm going to help. And I travel for, to volunteer twice a year. And that's the type of thing that it doesn't hurt my budget to do that because I'm allowed to do what I want to do for a living. It gives me the money to do that, to do what really fills my soul.
Yeah. I like to fill my soul up. Tommy wants to know what happens. Oh wait, where'd it go? What happens when there's no more vintage tees to resell? There's always going to be more.
Oh, shush.
So there are people. There were definitely people. And this is true in all reselling. There's always people who are like, when more attention is drawn to something, that it's going to ruin the market or drives prices up or makes it harder. More sellers enter the marketplace. It makes it harder for everyone. And there's definitely some truth. So in particular with like the vintage market, with like the stuff I sell. It's definitely true that prices drive up and it does become harder. Like I can't go to vintage stores here. I can't go to like Savers and stuff here in town and hope to find stuff unless I want to like dedicate all my time to constantly being out hustling, trying to find stuff because there's so many people in the game now. But on the upside, it creates like such a hype around it. So many more people are involved in it. And a lot of stuff that maybe would have just been thrown away before doesn't get thrown away. And there's never going to be an end to it. It's always out there. And even if the prices get driven up to where you as somebody who wants to be a collector can't afford to buy the pieces you want, you can still go out and hustle to find it yourself. You can still go to estate sales. You can still go, answer ads on different apps. You can still go find a rag house or one of those big warehouses where you can buy like a whole bale of t-shirts that haven't even been looked at before. There are ways that people can still go and find stuff. Yeah, it's not as easy as going and just throwing down a few $100s for the shirt you want or a few thousand, but it's still accessible for anybody. It really is. And there's really never going to be an end to it. It's never ending. I mean, really, it is. You just have to, I guess, get a little bit more creative in how you're going to find it.
Yep.
But true. And if you have that skill set, then there's more demand now and you're able to make an even better living at it.
I still love going out and thrifting and sourcing, and we take our little sourcing trips, every other month or so to go for a few days and thrift and source. And for me, that's how I'm going to acquire 95% of my inventory and what I sell. But the reality is that I would love, love, love to find a wholesaler for vintage clothing. And I don't mean vintage t-shirts because that's more Katie's thing. And there are wholesalers for vintage t-shirts that she said you can buy in bales and things like that. But vintage women's clothing, which is my forte, if I were to find a wholesaler or someone that has the ability to buy a bulk at the bins, we don't have good bins here. Our bins are terrible. I would definitely pay for a pallet or a Gaylord or, several hundred pieces at once if I could find it. But
yeah, for sure.
It's not. It's very difficult to find for me. So
I see Rob is bringing over the people. See, look, now we're starting to get the people from over in the vintage community. They're coming in here, and you want to try to do that?
No.
It's really funny though because Vicky tries to throw down the
lingo.
The lingo from the vintage
front hit,
community.
back hit, single dingle.
But then we've been watching like a lot of drag queen shows, and so she keeps like mixing them up, and so it doesn't quite. It seems a little bit weird.
You don't know.
Let's see, they do the.
I can mix up burr, with fire.
Did you just say
with
burn?
work?
She just said, like, at least you got to roll your R's if you want to be hip with the kids.
You just unhipped yourself by saying
you just said
with the kids.
No, I'm hip with the kids. You can't go burr.
Let's see. Unique Store asked a couple times, how did you guys grow your YouTube channel? Honestly, it's just consistent. We actually have a very small YouTube channel. We have fewer than 10,000 subs, and we've had our channel for over 2 years. That's pretty small. It
might have something to do with that we always do like hour to 2 hour videos.
Yeah, we do like 90-minute videos twice a week. That's pretty much, but this is who we are. And like it, love it, hate it, whatever. This is who we are. We're not going to change just to get subs. It's, we don't do that. But there are a lot of police channels that have way more subs that can tell you better how to grow a YouTube channel. It would be posting daily content is the best way to do it.
Daily, or at least consistent. So we do a couple times a week.
We do twice a week, and we do lives. A lot of people do recorded and edited videos, and they do stuff. We're too lazy to edit. We don't want to record and edit.
I mean, we joke about being too lazy, but the reality is it's a lot of work to have a YouTube channel. If you want to grow a YouTube channel so it can be another significant source of income, it's a lot of work. It really is. We do these live shows because it doesn't require us to do editing. And even with these live shows, it does take a chunk of time out of our week. And the reality is that neither one of us have a YouTube channel for money. Let's put it that way. We do not make to be realistic, we make very, very little on this channel. Far less than the amount of time that it costs us from our business to do this. We do this because we love our community and we like to interact with our community, and we like to teach people. So, and we're not willing to put in the time that would be necessary to make it like more of a moneymaker, because we want to focus on our regular businesses, and because our goal isn't to become like YouTube stars. So, so we're
our goal is to be the best sellers that we can be, and to help other people in our community be better sellers as well. That's our goal. And if we do that between the Facebook group and the YouTube channel, and just being who we are in general, that's good enough for us. We both make a very good living with our reselling, and while there are plenty of people that make a lot of money through YouTube and Instagram and advertising and affiliate links and all that kind of stuff, more power to them. But that's not what my business is.
Yeah, so for sure. All right, guys, we're already pushed over noon right now, our time. And so we need to call it quits because we got to get to work. I need to take a bunch of pictures today so I can get stuff listed for this next week. So I'm out. But anyway, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Rob, it's awesome to see you in the chat.
Thanks for joining us, Rob.
He's a really cool guy. I've been getting to talk to him quite a bit over these last few weeks, and he's definitely like right in with our kind of thinking of our place in the community and how we help each other to be better people and to be better at what we do, and striving to just be better human beings. And I think that business and personal in this day and age is so blurry. It all intertwines
for sure.
And the only way to be successful in life and in business is to basically just be good. Hashtag don't be a dick.
That's our hashtag. Hashtag don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. But seriously, just treat people well, do the right thing, and you're actually going to enjoy life a lot more, because you're going to find that you meet and you get to interact with the coolest people like Rob, my buddy. So go give him a follow on Instagram as well. But anyway, guys, we're going to go. We got to get some work done.
Yep.
And that's about it. We'll see you on Sunday, but make sure you go find us on Instagram so you can enter the contest and all that good stuff. All right. Bye.
Bye.